Happy Tuesday, LinkedIn friends, and happy holidays to you. Hopefully, you are all recovered, doing well, and ready to go for an amazing rest of the week. I'm sure excited to be here with you, all of you that are taking time out of your holiday season to join me, and of course, my special guest today in the lean coaching for lean coaches hot seat. I dare call it that, but I'm so excited to be joined today by my friend, Mr. Jesse Hernandez. Welcome to Lean Coaching for Lean Coaches, my dude.
What is going on, my friend? You having fun?
Dude, I'm so excited to be here. I've been hyped ever since you said yes to this. So I can't wait. I can't wait. Honestly, I'm so excited. But and for those of you that are joining in as you're trickling in and getting in, I get it. It's the day after Christmas. So we're all kind of running a little bit slower probably than normal. And that's okay. That's all good. But put your name in, where you're calling from, what's got you joining today. If you're just here to see the beautiful Jesse, that's all good too. It's all good. He's a supermodel on the side. But hey, for those that don't know you, please give us just a little rundown on who is Jesse. What's going on for you these days, my friend?
Yeah, man. Thank you, brother. So first, my name's Jesus. That's the name Mama gave me, and I gotta let people know. But everybody calls me Jesse, and I have to let people know that my name's Jesus because if not, did I tell you the story, Sam?
No.
So I was like the keynote speaker at a parent summit for my local school district. This was years back, and we had about 500 people in the audience, and I killed. Like I did really good. And I took my mom to lunch after she was there because I wanted her to see me like doing good guy stuff, right? And I
Yeah,
said, "Mom, what did you think about the thing?" And she's like, "Well, your name is not Jesse." Like that's all she remembers from the damn
of
whole
course she did.
right. I'm like, oh, so from there forward, I always got to let people know my
That's
name
right.
is Jesus, but I do go by Jesse. So thank you for letting me share that. Um, I guess the quick and short is I started my career, like my working career, back in the 1900s. I started off as a plumber in the plumbing industry as an apprentice. Worked my way through different roles. Worked on that side of the business for about 20 years. Then I went to work for a general contractor as a regional lean asset. Then I went to work for, we'll say, owner on this environmental health and safety side of things for the construction department of this brand. And then I got into consulting, which is what I'm doing now. I've had my business running for, I don't know, 20, 21 months or so. So, like, I slid down the slide of credibility. Started off as a craft worker, journeyman person, doing things, making things happen. And now I'm a consultant. Most of my time is spent in the construction space because that's my entire background. But
Mm,
it's not exclusive to that.
that's cool, man. Well, it's great to have you here, and you clearly offer so much goodness and greatness from your experience in the industry and what you're doing now. I don't think it's a slide down, personally. Um, you're helping others become better, and I think that that's actually a slide up, if I were to say. And thank you too for sharing your story around your name. That was one thing I was curious about to know, and so having that background, especially with your mom, because hey, if mom says it, man, you can't turn that
Yeah,
up. Mom,
exactly.
never too old for a whooping, right? So I get it. I get it. So that's great. I appreciate you sharing that. And so it's a beautiful thing. But we're here to do some good work with you and to help you with the space that you're in right now. So, what is on the mind of Jesus Jesse today?
Well, you and I had our prep call. One, I want to also like give you props for putting this together because I know, or rather, it's my observation that a lot of folks in our space, right, in the continuous improvement space, do a horrible job, or maybe just lack the experience around marketing,
Mm,
marketing our services, marketing our intent. And so when you reached out, I'm like, yeah, man, like I'm down. Let's do this to help people to demonstrate the behavior of like what does marketing look like, right? And I think this live thing's a fabulous exercise. Um, but along that line of thinking, um, here's my situation. So, I do a lot of face-to-face consulting, which is awesome. I work with amazing leaders out there that are committed to a transformational experience. And that's really deep, right? And it takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of skin in the game on their part.
Yep.
And I love that.
Yes.
And along the way, I've discovered these two, we'll call them products, services, um, that because I'm an addict, like for real, diagnosed addict, I'm addicted to the outcomes of these other things. So one is emotional bungee jumpers, and the other is sweat equity improvement. And what
Mm,
I'm addicted to about those two things is the transformation that I get to witness while we're
yes.
going through the experience. Tracking so far?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Right? Because it shifts the way people think and I get to see it. Whereas I'm sure you know, Sam, when you're working with the business or a team, project team, whatever, the gains are like the awakenings, the light bulbs.
Yeah.
There's a long space, a long
Right.
period of
Yeah.
time between those, and a lot of, we'll say, discipline and endurance required to achieve them.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
Right.
That's
And
true.
so it's easy. Like there's a lot of off ramps on that type of work for the
Yeah.
individual, for the learner. And so, which, of course, it brings great value when they get there and you can help them and coach them and guide them, get them back on track, all that.
Yeah.
But with these other two things, it's like, bam, right there, first day, right between the eyes. And I get to see people say like, oh, I can do not just work. And so
Yeah.
this is getting to our problem. I can see people come to terms with the fact or start analyzing the idea of doing work and life differently.
Yes.
All right. Now, my challenge in terms of marketing, and when I say marketing, I want to be clear, is acquiring clients or people to sign up for these things,
Yep.
right?
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Making that happen.
Okay.
And there's a lot of stuff that happens between the idea and people actually signing up. But when I
Right.
use the word marketing, I'm talking about, you know, getting them to sign up, getting interest, informing, and then boom, sign up and let's have fun.
Yeah.
And so here's my challenge. And the best way I can articulate it is within what I do and what all us lean practitioners do, there's a clinical element to it. And when I say clinical, I'm talking about the terminology, the definitions, the process, the method. Like I'm sure the clinical thing that we're going to experience, you and I, Sam, for the audience to watch, is the kata method, right? Like
Mm,
that's the clinical thing, and there are steps to accomplish that. So that is the truth, and that is inherent in what everything that we do is CI weirdos. Now, for me, when I had the awakening that there's also a social element, and the
mm,
social element is the glue, it's the mortar that
yeah.
keeps the bricks of the clinical together so that that transformational experience sets in and stays in place long term.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tracking so far?
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to marketing, I want to talk about all the social benefits and all the emotional and relational experiences, values, and outcomes that come from the thing. However, that doesn't speak to a lot of people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it does. I think it speaks to a small percentage of people, and it's great content. People will engage and get
Yeah.
moved by it, and which is amazing.
Yeah.
But there's a price to sign up for the thing, and then it's like, ooh, wait a minute, I'm gonna pay that much for rainbows and unicorns, right? Now the other side is if I go clinical, meaning the steps, the processes, the terminology, the definition, it loses its heart,
Yeah.
right? And it's difficult for me, or I'm struggling rather, to to do one or the other. Right, no, correction. I lean towards doing the social relational stuff, like
Right.
messaging, relational and social.
Yeah.
But I understand the value of the clinical and figuring out how to maybe leverage both, or maybe switch on and off, do a little bit of clinical, a little bit of social, a little bit of clinical, a little bit of social. Like that's
Yeah.
the space that I'm in, right? And it may, which kind of gets me to like A/B testing when we're
Yeah.
testing out or experimenting and see which
Hmm.
one gets
Hmm.
the greatest return.
Yep.
So that's the jumbled up conundrum that I'm dealing with. What do you think, Sam?
Oh man. Well, I think, and please, for those of you that have joined in, let us know where you're calling in from, what's brought you here, because I can see folks here. Just don't be afraid to hop into the chat. I totally get it, man, and I think this is something that so many folks in this space deal with. The benefits, the long term benefits, the impact of doing this work and teaching the methods, the forms, as you kind of put it, and also the social emotional benefits as well of the work, right, to their, or not only their work but their life and their mindset. So all of that like totally makes sense. So I always like to work backward, forward, and in your mind, what is it that is like the ideal picture of what you want to see, like in this marketing space? How will you know that? How will you know that this is worked, or what is the picture of your ideal scenario in this whole
Yeah,
space?
yeah. So ideally, I would have the Q1 session of sweat equity improvement filled up with 10 learners that are filled with field leaders, folks that are out there in the field that want to make work better for their people. I would also have 20 or 30 people on the waiting list for the sessions that are happening on Q2, 3, and 4,
Okay.
such that I would have to get more people, figure out a way to scale that so that we can serve more people more faster. We got Mr. Sean.
Oh, love it, love it. So 10 learners that are signed up, and then you
Signed
have
up
a wait list.
with at least 30 people on it. Yes. Like if
Okay.
we want to get clear, like that's the clear target,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And when is your Q1 session? When do you need to have the 10 learners like signed up by?
January 10th is the first class.
Okay.
So by January 9th, or depend again, I'd love to have to close it tomorrow because it filled up, but it hasn't
It-
filled up yet.
right. So we're at January 9th. Okay. And I was like to, or what is what are you seeing going on? I just like what in your mind's eye, like, do you have happening with that? I'm just trying to get the picture, because you can have like the 10 people, but what else is going on? Like if we took the roof off of your process here, what are you seeing in that ideal scenario?
I guess the outcome of people having signed up is that they would all, through the experience of the course, would have picked a project that produced significant labor savings and dramatic shift in the way they lead and manage their people.
Your end game is the sign up, though, correct? Right.
Well,
That's
yeah, something that can be easily measured.
I mean,
Yeah,
right,
sign
right
up.
now. Yeah. So what's the why? What's driving you to do this?
So the why behind it all is, like I mentioned on my intro, I came up in the trades and I went through 4 years of apprenticeship, worked to get my journeyman license, got to the foreman role, and this weird thing happens, right? Like when I was an installer, there were a lot of foremen and superintendents and project managers that I hated because they didn't do anything to make my work better or make my
Right.
right. All they did was tell me, that I suck and I need to get better.
Right.
And then when I got to the foreman level, it still happened, but what I turned around and did was told everybody to go faster, right?
Right.
Um, and then I got introduced to lean construction and all this other stuff. And same thing, right? I didn't understand that I could use my powers for good and service to others. What I
Yeah.
did was point out their inefficiencies and say they were being unproductive and say there
Right.
were all the eight waste and all the stuff. I really
Yeah.
didn't understand how to serve others and make the work better for the human being and the value that that brings in terms of buy-in and
Yeah.
scaling and sustainability and all that other good stuff. And
Yep.
so when I had my mind shifted, it was like, oh my goodness, I can help a lot of people understand how to better serve their crews and their teams
Yep.
such that they'll have more a richer experience in the field in general
Yep.
and produce pretty awesome business results, right? And
Right.
so, like, what does that mean? Well, if I'm in a state of like I'm contributing, I'm learning, I'm growing, my relationships are thriving. In construction, we have this huge issue of suicide and
Mm.
mental and substance abuse and poor mental health and all of these things. And
Yeah.
I firmly believe that by you through the experience, a person has a mind shift such that they
Yep.
will function differently, and this will combat that like big gigantic problem,
Right.
right?
Yep. Yep.
So maybe improved quality of life. How's that? But that takes us
Mm.
back to rainbows and unicorns,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, I wonder, like, so your goal is to get this your course like filled up for this Q1. Um where are you at right now? Right? So because we
Got
want it
three
to go
people.
like this is where we want to be.
Yep,
Where are you at right now?
three.
Okay. So 3 people. Great.
Yeah,
So we're
that's
at
awesome.
yeah,
It's
yeah, that's
super
great,
awesome.
dude. So we got 3. You want to be at 10. What let's say we're on the 25th. You've got was that two how many more weeks then? Like 2 more weeks?
Like 2 weeks out. Yeah.
Okay. So it's always nice to like set even when you have shorter like to set in shorter goals. So if you're looking like in a week, where would you like to be in relation to this?
Well, I've got the gap is 7. I've got 2 weeks. So within a week, the logical math or the simple math says I should be at 6.5.
Yeah.
Right. However, you know this, people don't sign up until like the last 3 days before the thing. Right. And so if I account for that, if I got up to 5 by the end of the week, that would actually be good progress because the last 5 would be the day before or the day after. Say, oh, I missed it. I really wanted to. My bad. I'm sorry. Which is okay. I can accommodate.
Okay. So being at 5 in a week.
We'll say by the end of this week. Yes.
Okay. And when you say end of this week, what day? What do
Sunday.
you Sunday, Sunday. Okay. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Um so what is it that you feel like is the obstacle or the challenge that's keeping you from getting to that?
Well, I don't think there's an obstacle or challenge to getting to that. Where my thing is, my or the hang up that I want to explore here is messaging. Does it make sense to is okay, what are the options? There's 3 options. Message, rainbows and unicorns, how beautiful and awesome all this stuff is.
Yeah.
That's option A. Option
Yeah.
B, message, clinical definitions, terminology, process, system. Or option C is a commingling of the unicorns and the processes in terms of messaging. That's what I want to um, that's what I want to explore. Instead, in terms of closing the gap on the two, I have a plan to to do that,
Mhm.
but I could apply what I learn or discover here in my marketing plan to close that gap.
So one of the things, and in coaching, we're always straddling this line of um, asking questions to help learn through trying, and then also like, hey, I've had this experience. I'm wondering if maybe if you tried this in your space, that something you might learn something as well. So I'm wondering if I could offer a D scenario for you
Yes.
here for you to try. Um, One of the things that I've discovered, and you and I both know, and we talk about voice of the customer, right? We talk about,
Mhm.
hey, we need to hear from them to understand what's going on for them and then be able to meet them where they're at. Because otherwise, we're just offering them a solution to a problem that they don't have or don't need the help, which we're very great at doing. I
Oh,
do
yes.
that. I do that with folks that I help, and at home too. I'm awesome at this. So I've learned through the experience. So one of the things that when we get and we turn our focus on away from like, oh my gosh, am I marketing this great with all, like, am I giving them all the great benefits versus what is it that what is the pain point that they're dealing with that this would speak to? So instead of speaking to the great benefits, speaking to the pain and the challenge that they have, that's right now, that this is going to resolve, that's real for them right now, the people
Right.
that you're talking to.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, how does that sit?
Yeah, so as you were talking, one thought came up, and it's like, okay, I've got two groups going on right now that we're fixing to wrap up. Actually, I've got a session today at 2:30.
Oh, cool.
Um, and I could ask them like that lean thing, right? Go to the people. I could do
What is this thing you speak of?
that. There's this thing I teach that I don't
Yeah,
necessarily
there's this
do.
thing I teach.
I should probably do. Yeah, so that actually helps. And then also on the other group, which is awesome because it's like a private group just for that organization and their
Oh,
people.
cool.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. Um, the VP of operations has shared precise numbers
Mm,
in terms of the gap that they're trying to close, labor overages. And so I can go ask, right? I can go see if I could use that type of information and ask the rest of the group of what is it that they're getting out of the experience so that I can
mm.
also share that with others. Because there's always a delta between what I want to happen and what is actually happening.
Yeah. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's the specific thing that you'll be, just to clarify, what's the specific thing that you'll be doing?
I'm going to be asking for answers to the test from current learners of the thing.
And what are you going to be asking them specifically?
I'm going to be asking them what their takeaways are or have been from the learning and how it applies to their day-to-day situation.
Hmm. And then what do you expect to learn from that?
I 100% expect them to say things that even though I've run a million scenarios in my head, I expect to learn they're going to say things that surprise me 100%. Because that's usually what happens.
You mean you can't predict the future or what
I
people will do?
can't, right? And as much as I want to solutionize and control things, I'm just not that great at it.
Oh man. And I'm just catching you now, Stephanie. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Yeah, we love to solutionize. Absolutely, I'm with you for sure. So, how do you expect to feel doing this?
What I'm
asking.
probably gonna feel is once I get, a couple of nuggets, I'm gonna be manic and obsessive and maybe not sleep for a couple of days so that I can produce content around whatever I learn. That's what I'm expecting to feel.
Oh,
Excited, uh, and eager to actualize whatever I think of.
cool. That's great. Okay. Is there anything that's gonna prevent you from taking this action?
No, I mean the one I it's easy to say, well, yeah, if the class is canceled. But I also have a phone and I have LinkedIn and I have Facebook. Like I will find them.
He's gonna find them. So watch out, people. He's
Watch
coming.
out. I'm coming. I'm coming.
I love it. So, what today is we're kind of wrapping up, and please, for y'all, if you've been here and you enjoyed this, definitely want to get your feedback on what was valuable from for you and what you'd like to hear more of. On Thursday, we're going to be coming back around and talking more about these topics around marketing, lean marketing, and helping us be able to continue to do what Jesse has just talked about here. We've got this great thing to be able to help people. How can we really speak to them to a place where they'll actually, show up and then be able to get something valuable that's going to change their mind and maybe even their life? The unicorns and rainbows, as you said.
Yes.
So, what has been the most valuable thing for you here, Jesus?
I'll say it's two equal parts. One is the opportunity to have like this, we'll say, revealing conversation. Um, and here's the two parts. One, as an example of if you're out there like in the lean space and you're building your consultancy or your business, like we all kind of have the same problem, right? Like we are all connected. We are human. I think that's
Yep.
part A. Part B is the simple duh. Go ask the people. Like I'm over here complicating, wanting to do surveys and all kinds of stuff,
Yeah.
and all I got to do is ask the people. Duh. That was it.
That's great, dude. I think it's we're so close to it that it's like it's hard to see. As more as my mom would say, if it was a snake, it would have bitten you.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, that's what the value of having these kind of conversations are, is to be able to have somebody be able to reflect that back. I need them, you need them, we all need them. And that's why I want to have these conversations, is to hopefully help shine a light that, hey, it's okay to raise your hand and ask for help, and then um, get that support. So this is beautiful, dude. And please, y'all, if you haven't already, do please connect with Jesus. He is so much fun, and this has been a super big blast. So, hey, if you all have any additional questions, things you'd like us to talk about, please do that. Please join on Thursday. We're going to be talking again about more marketing and lean fun then. We'll be back next Tuesday with live coaching as well. I've got Marie Genevieve Pavlak lined up. She is an amazing lean practitioner and consultant. She actually does gaming and play with lean. So you're going to want to be here for that for sure. But so thank you again, Jesus, for being here. It's been such a blast to have you on Lean Coaching for Lean Coaches.
Awesome. Thank you for not solution shanking me, Sam.
No, I left that back. I left that in my drawer over here. So no solution shanking going on. All right. Much love, y'all. Have a fantastic day. Happy New Year to you if you don't join us on Thursday. But of course, you're going to. So why am I even saying that? Thank you all. Have a fantastic day. Take good care.
Peace.